Oh, this could be the S guard. Whoa.
And we were correct about that. We're going Samus versus Banjo and Kazooie again. And we are swapping right back to the regular old battlefield.
Yeah, the clean white power armor too. That is, I don't think I've seen that Samus alt used for quite a bit, but I can feel it.
You know, that's what 44 has been rocking throughout the night. And again, 44 climbed up through the winner's side, only got knocked out in winner's finals. So this is the redemption right now to try and go in again. Anality, though, took them 3-0. So gonna have to have another fight, but started from round 1, didn't get that first round skip, unlike Solid here. So really just, you know, had that hard fight to make it up through the bracket and upset a lot of matches.
Speaking of upset, if I was 44 right now, I would be. Such a lead was racked up for a while there, and then a bunch, just like several Wonder Wings in a row, and suddenly it is looking a lot more grim. I mean, there was even a charge shot set up off stage that Wonder Wing powered through and hit on the other end of as well. That is frustrating to deal with when your primary zoning tool can kind of just get beat out by that side B. That said, only so many. Oh, the parry too! 44 catching onto those tools, not going to get caught off guard by that again.
This is something we see a lot from 44, floating around with those down Bs, staying out of the way of things. A beautiful job by Solid, though. Just that egg barely making it over the platform, and that'll dink 44 off of the stage, and that leads into the first stock. I think that was just a forward air coming out there. No, sorry, a back air coming out from Solid, getting that kill.
Yeah, you know, we've got a kind of a skewed view of Banjo's kill power from the last match because Samus is so heavy, or Snake is so heavy, but Samus is a little closer to the median weight here. So some of the stuff that we weren't seeing have quite so much knockback last match is going to be a little bit more lethal here.
A great job getting back on stage and shielding. Immediately knocked back off. Oh,
no,
that is sad to see.
I think that if 44 had not upbeat there, I think that Gamer loses that stock because of how far down they were. They kind of needed that upbeat to hit to carry them upwards and reset that upbeat there.
Now this is going to be a lot of climb back for 44 to get through, having lost that stock out.
Yeah,
and trying to find...
You're seeing a lot coming out from 44 there that would work in most matchups. Going out there and threatening that back air, that far into the blast zone, absolutely a solid game plan for that offstage interaction in most matchups. But this Wonder Wing from Gamer is throwing a wrench in the works of that. There's, you know, that having that invulnerable option is something that 44 is going to need to learn to play around a little bit here.
Yeah, and now perhaps just playing around a little bit too much, and Solid is able to just constantly find these advantage states. Maybe, maybe not using the grenade to get back there. Wonderfully played. And the grenade there to keep safe. 44 committing to getting this kill, though. Carries Solid across stage, gets caught by the back throw, able to survive that.
Grabbed out of the empty, jumped in too. Like, was definitely trying to condition something out of that shield, try to make something happen, and Gamer was already on top of it. Gamer now in position to close this set out. 44 is really going to need to play clean from here, because one wrong move, and they're going to lose the stock. They do at least get the charge shot set up into the dash attack for the kill, but that does also mean that Gamer's got 5 fresh Wonder Wings to play with, and any one of them can kill.
It was interesting, the very first thing we saw there was Solid perhaps thinking that that platform is safe, and as we just saw here again, 44 knows how to use those and knows how to just get that nice, clean, easy Samus juggle if you try and stay on the platforms.
Yeah, Solid Gamer just holding down this ledge there, putting as much pressure as possible with the grenades. You got to be careful about waiting those grenades out too, because those smash attacks will hit the ledge. Oh, the forward air did not beat out the Banjo Nair. We're going so low, but playing this so well right now, just winning interaction after interaction, keeping Gamer way off stage, and then punishing the end lag, where it was just out of invulnerability, but had not quite clicked the ledge. That tiny bit of spacing's difference, and 44 pounces on it with that up tilt, pulling the comeback.
Like we said before, like 44 had a climb to make, but knew that and came through hard with it. Any solid hit by Solid Gamer at that point would have likely been a KO, but just for those last two stocks was not able to find it and finish up against 44 underscore.
That last stock, I mean, 44 played that so well with that last bit of percentage remaining. That is perseverance right there. And I want to talk about too that parry on the Wonder Wing we saw earlier. That parrying a move like that is one thing. Like that's something that, you know, if you see a comment like, yeah, you can send it out. Parrying something like that online, you've got to know that timing ahead of time. You have to be ready. You don't have to not just be ready. You can't react at that point for something as close in timing as a parry. You just have to know. And not only did they know, they were confident enough to know that they would parry on something that big. I mean, that is confidence in your game plan, in your understanding of exactly what the delay is looking like on the connection, of what you know the opponent is going to do. I mean, that is pure confidence, and I gotta respect that.
Amen. And already 44 is looking to be trying to own this match. We had a swap up from Solid Gamer to MinMin, which is something that we have seen Solid pop out before. But right now it's looking like just good shielding gameplay, and being able to approach on this is keeping the advantage leaning towards 44. That was an interesting interaction. The first MinMin arm went above the platform. The second one, as it was landing, went under, was able to throw off 44 enough to get that hit. And that actually led to evening up the percentage more, but 44 able to find the first kill before they get to 100%, just past the first minute.
Yeah, and you know, this is an interesting counterpick choice into the Samus here. I feel like MinMin could be a blessing or a curse into this matchup. Full screen zoners, MinMin I could definitely see could pressure those full screen zoners from pretty far away, force them onto a ledge, force them into a bad situation in the corner. But I also got to imagine that in a disadvantaged situation or when the zoner is controlling the pace of the game, I can see where 44 is able to just run away and just play the full screen zoning game, and gamers got to really be extra careful about those options because they're kind of vulnerable while throwing those tilts out. They don't really have a whole lot of movement. Those tilts do take a while, even though they have long range. Hey, there's that reflector though. That's something I wasn't thinking about. Having that on deck on that up smash, that could change things.
Yeah, honestly, that's a thing you don't think about because it doesn't look like MinMin has any sort of reflect, but you gotta remember she does, especially against these ranged characters, people who rely on that. We've seen 44 going in for a lot more close range fighting this game than before, and it just changes things way up.
Yeah, we saw a fully charged charge shot unfortunately go out the wrong direction there, but not slowing down 44 all that much right now. Gamer is really applying so much pressure there. The megawatt smash attack catching the air dodge landing as well. Gamer, one more time, gonna have a lead here. Solid is just throwing up as much damage here, being forced to box because of the iframes that 44 got off of the spawn platform, but that only lasts so long, and now we're back to a fair game.
And we are seeing another push in, and that's a stock for 44 that evens up the game here, and they are now both on last stocks, but 44 has the disadvantage in percentage right now.
Yeah, and that Samus dash attack is becoming a major tool in this matchup. Something to follow up a charge shot, even if it doesn't quite land or lands on shield. It does have that armor, so if Solid tries to pull a offensive action afterwards. Could just power right through, depending on the strength of the attack, and still land, and it kills.
We're seeing an amazing job on ledge by 44. It was keeping that pressure up. That was a solid bit of percentage added there, but Solid able to get back on the stage.
Yeah, and you're seeing this arms length kind of reach play here. Regular arms reach. Oh! 44 maybe caught off guard there by the reach from the extended MinMin arms there and the extra range from the Dragon Laser as well. Solid going to take their first game with MinMin here, which brings the set count to 2-1 in their favor.
Yeah, and especially with that Dragon's Breath, the laser there, sometimes, especially when the MinMin hasn't been using it for a while, you just kind of feel safe and you think, okay, Dragon came out, I was able to stay far enough from that, I'm good. And then it pops out and you're not good. And I definitely, feel like it caught 44 a little bit off guard there. I hadn't seen it since pretty much early on in the match, first stock or so.
Yeah, those mix-ups that MinMin can pull off with that Dragon Laser, they get pretty intense because it throws out there too at a moment where you really don't want to be air dodging at that point. I don't think 44 could have made it back if they had air dodged at that moment. I can't remember if they'd had their jump on deck at that point, but I'm pretty sure they would have been still taking the stock even had they not air dodged. The only real option you have at that point is to, throw an early recovery, but throwing an early recovery also leaves you vulnerable in a whole lot of different ways. So it's definitely something that leaves you in a bad way either way once you're in that situation.
Solid swapping up to the Banjo and Kazooie, maybe with the stock lead, and planning to bring this in against Anality, wanting to try and get a little bit more gameplay from that. And we have swapped up the stage again to Battlefield. And I feel like these platforms just give a bit of an advantage to 44, as we saw that platform gameplay was definitely part of what made it so that 44 could make that comeback earlier.
Yeah, we're seeing Solid play uncharacteristically aggressive right now, but I believe the Banjo was probably a choice that was dictated by the stage here. I think that maybe they just didn't want to go MinMin on a stage that didn't have as much distance to zone with or to play around with. That said, it was looking like 44 was having the advantage in the stage either way until just a moment ago, and now the percentages are rapidly evening up because Solid is just keeping 44 in the corner.
Yeah, there is not much Samus can do when you're being kept completely out of all of your options. Doesn't quite get the berry, but still goes for the up tilt, and that is going to go ahead and take the first stock.
Yeah, and that was 44 was running away with that for a while, but Solid broke up that momentum and is the one to take the first stock instead. And 128 is actually still pretty healthy for a character as heavy as Banjo is, and with recovery and ledge options as good as Banjo's are. So this stock could stick around for a while, even blocking the charge shot with the grenade as they drop down. Every tool that 44 has to make this approach and make this kill safely is being shut down, which means they're going to have to close in and do something aggressive to find the stock, and that could cost them percent.
And Solid definitely feeling safe to just use these Wonder Wings a little bit more. We saw the second to last one pop out, which means they got one more left, but if they're going to be losing the stock some point soonish anyway, might as well pop them out. And that was the pressure that 44 needed right there, able to use the forward air and get that KO. Tried to look for that same platform gameplay and might be getting these up airs right now, 3 in a row. That's again that pressure that they want and that damage that they need.
Well, Wonder Wing on the ledge there as well. We've already got one Wonder Wing down this set, one feather missing. 44 just trying to navigate off this ledge. That grenade does so many options are cut off by the grenade on ledge. It really does limit your options significantly. And when your character only has traditional ledge options, that's it can put you in a bad spot. And I feel like Solid has been getting quite a bit of their percentage each game, and especially this one, off of those ledge situations specifically.
We had seen earlier tonight 44 jumping up with the forward air to be able to fight off the ledge, or just doing a quick pop-up with the neutral B. But again, those grenades, and then also the smash attacks that Solid has been using just kind of have been cutting off those options.
Yeah, you know, and that grenade in the air too, it also gives you that little bit of pop of momentum kind of in place, a little bit upwards. With that, plus the Banjo extra double jump, or the forward air coming in peak stock, with that grenade plus the extra double jump from Banjo, Banjo can kind of hover in your airspace and look for a punish in a way very similar to how Pit wants to play. But with the added advantage of one of those jumps also just drops a grenade. And that's a lot to deal with.
Yeah, honestly. Strong shield pressure by 44 right now, but actually, Solid is the one going to be getting hits right here.
Dropping down with the Nair, just picking a first option there that was actually still relatively safe since they were dropping down off the platform, and Nair, not a lot of landing lag. Evening the game back up here, this is looking much better for 44 than it was a moment ago, and now playing this ledge equally as well as Gamer was earlier. That might just be what they need to make this happen. Gonna get caught with the setup of the Wonder Wing, though. It could be anyone's game from here.
Absolutely. And there's that just jab, gets Solid in a good position. Both of them are able to land from that, though.
Yeah, we're seeing that non-stop barrage of eggs. The omelet served at a distance here, putting up more and more chip damage.
Despite a berry at like 90%, Solid is not going for any sort of kill there, was just going for a neutral air to grab some more damage, which might be all they needed. Popped out another Wonder Wing, just kind of closing the space there, and sending 44 off stage. 44 burning that charge shot.
Yeah, burning a lot of resources here. Gamer's still holding on to wings as well. That back throw probably going to be it. That is going to be the game and the set. Ultimately going over to Gamer there through some excellent utilization of ledge play and patient usage of just accruing chip damage. Again, with that omelet served from afar, just the constant barrage of eggs, the neutral B egg, the grenade egg, just anything you can throw across the stage there. It is a lot of pressure that goes up, and each individual hit doesn't feel like much, but it adds up.
Oh, absolutely. Again, solid gameplay by Gamer tonight. Will be taking third place, solid gameplay by 44_ tonight will be taking third place, whereas Solid Gamer will be moving on to our grand finals, and will have to take 2 sets up against Anality, who will probably be playing those fighting game characters again.
Yeah, this should be good. You know, this is something I've been thinking to myself lately, after watching a couple of the other Lagspike tournaments, and I want to see if it holds true here, because it really does feel like, I mean, even looking at Anality's bracket run tonight, which I'm having to familiarize myself with, I mean, only so far dropping 1 game to Bryav all night. Anality really doesn't lose, except to Sonic specifically, it feels like. That is the only matchup that we really see Anality start to struggle with. And there's no Sonic in the running. There's no Sonic between Anality and first place tonight, so this might be Anality's night.
This is game 4? This is game 4. We are moving and continuing on.
I can't count. I apologize, folks. I cannot count. We're still going for this set. I am getting ahead of myself here, so...
I did enough counting for the night, and we are continuing to move on.
Ooh, my apologies. But yeah, all right. Well, we got one more go around here. Going into game. Remind me, game 5 here now.
Game 4.
This
So,
game 4.
right now, Solid does have the advantage by 1 game. We saw this game before. We saw the MinMin pulled out at Pokemon Stadium, and then we saw this same matchup once before. So now we are in game 4.
All right, so game 4. Here we are, and seen a lot of a little bit more up close boxing, less projectile play here. Players are getting a little bit closer to each other, and that probably makes a lot of sense here for 44 specifically. Or actually, who does this work out better for? Because it feels like. I mean, 44 really can't play the distance game here because the angles those eggs come in at just doesn't provide a whole lot of great punish options. At the same time, though, taking risks up close means a better chance to end up on that ledge where Gamer has shown they can definitely exploit that time and time again.
Yeah, and this is interesting because we've seen a lot of solid, like, ground level air gameplay from Samus, but as soon as things start to get like up higher, then it feels like Banjo is just controlling it.
Oh, caught the runaway off the platform with the charge shot at just the right moment there. Gonna take the first stock. I mean, both fighters up to like 150% there, so this will probably even up pretty soon. Going for the aggressive Wonder Wing.
And popping out another one immediately afterward. That does even up as was predicted. Right now they are both at 2 stocks left and only a very small lead for 44 underscore right now. And Solid Gamer is throwing out the explosives, throwing out the forward air to try and tie that back up.
That felt like a second guess moment. 44 moved in and was about to do something to punish on shield. Could have had the grab there after the Wonder Wing, but dashed back out instead and then resumed charging charge shot. And that's when that additional Wonder Wing came through that did end that stock. But once again, percentages already even back up. This time, 44 right through that onslaught of eggs get back to the stage and is just railing charge shot after charge shot right now to keep the pressure going.
Yeah, and that last charge shot hit because it dipped right under a bouncing grenade egg there.
44 trying to condition to either force Gamer to go Solid to go high or force Solid to Wonder Wing. Neither one ended up being the option, but that just meant they took up air after up air on the landing and eventually sent to the other side of the stage before the stock. I think we're starting to see the 44 game plan adapt and respond in a way that Solid's going to really have to figure out new options to deal with.
And something that I don't think we had seen 44 do until this game is get the grab off on the Wonder Wing. As we mentioned before with the Snake gameplay, that if you can grab that Wonder Wing, that is a solid option. And Samus does have the distance grab, makes that a lot easier to do if you see it coming. And Wonder Wing, it does project itself a little bit.
Yeah, and right now between the Zares, the sharking up airs on the platform, and the charge shot at a distance, 44 is making Solid's life miserable between and on top of these platforms here. And Solid is just not finding a way to deal with it just now. Finally does find a haymaker through with that forward air. Is going to find the stock here with the up tilt after the berry as well. It does even the stocks up, but now instead of an even stock that we've been seeing most of the game when a stock is taken, we're now seeing Solid instead 120% in the deficit.
A beautiful parry to start that off by Solid, but then immediately tries to go too aggressive with it, and 44 is able to turn that around. Had Solid off the stage there. Solid finally getting back and just throwing out projectiles, keeping 44 having to figure out how to maneuver around them.
Yeah, and 44 is throwing up tons of shield pressure as well here, but they're stuck back on this ledge here. Gonna get grabbed and buried one more time, but no combo will follow this time. Excellent mash, turning around with the charge shot off the platform as well. And that is, forgive me, because I apparently completely lost track of the score. We're at 2-2?
We are at 2-2, which means
We're
we're
2-2.
moving on to game 5 for the two of them. One will be taking third, and one will be moving on to grand finals to try and climb up 2 sets.
All right, we're banning FD in town as well, so not going to see either of those two. I don't think that Solid is going to want to go back to Battlefield here either.
And looking like Solid is hopping off again. We could be seeing another swap up, as we have seen a few times from Solid before. Always
But,
keeping something nice in the pocket.
We're seeing a lot of adaptation from 44 here too. I mean, Solid has been holding down so much of the set, with the range play, with just the chip damage from a distance, and then ledge traps with that, and using the Wonder Wing to either get back from a bad recovery situation or just as a burst option to take stocks. But we've been seeing 44 now playing in a way that is continuing to apply pressure at mid-range. Not Samus's usual playstyle, but it is making it difficult for Solid to get out grenades to use that Wonder Wing because of that startup lag. So we're seeing the switch off back to MinMin instead. We only saw one game of this earlier in this set, and I believe the Solid won it, so makes sense as a counter pick, poking with the laser to stop the charge shot.
Yeah, again, that laser was what finished off the game earlier, so Samus is gonna be have to be careful against that here, and remember it is an option.
Yeah, and you know, I'm really starting to get a better feel of what Solid's playstyle is here. I'm seeing a lot of, regardless of character they're on, trying to play these diagonal angles that are difficult to respond to. The forward smash off stage there, reaching down just a little bit to take that kill as well. And only 37%. Solid start already running away with this one.
Yeah, and a good job there using the Megawatt to hit into the dragon from MinMin there.
Yeah, this is one of those situations. I mean, 44 once again is going to need to find another way to move in and apply pressure and prevent Solid from just relying on those diagonal angles that they really don't have a response to. But different situation dealing with MinMin versus Banjo. Banjo, once when you're on your way in trying to close at distance, really can only put projectiles in your way, but MinMin can actively respond and move the positioning to get those arms in the right spot to shut down your approach.
Yeah, and doing a really great job of just knowing where things are and where to leave things. Also, just switching up these arms so fast to change up the game plan. Like this one already had the spinner out and ready for the ledge gameplay. Landing with the dragon, I don't think the laser popped out there at all. Just going for a strong landing neutral there.
Yeah, Solid is just already 2 stocks up, still applying pressure. The ledge trump into the down air there, no spike, but it does send Solid a little too far out to recover. 44 not out of this yet, but still has a ways to go. Is still at least relatively healthy on this last stock, but still has been 2 full stocks off of Solid to take this set.
Not the first time though that we've seen 44 at a deficit and able to pull it back, but this is looking even harsher.
Yeah, this is looking like an absolute wall. What a parry though! Moving in once again, having the confidence to drop that shield like that with no option, and knowing you're going to parry, that takes nerves.
This definitely has to be a do or die type of time though, and what a do! Dropping the shield first, going for the grab, especially at that distance, wouldn't have really been an option for MinMin. Gets that stock. This is gonna have to be tight, and hit by that laser, able to go under the second one, but right into the Megawatt means that
you can see the 44 _ last stock power up starting to take effect, but it just wasn't quite enough.
and